Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. And welcome to the Manchester United preview show. It's Manchester United versus Brighton, but we're going to be talking about a lot more than this game. So we face Chris Houghton's Brighton. Wow. A really tough customer for Manchester United in the past. They've become a bit of our bogey team, especially away from home. I think they're a very, very tricky opposition. I don't think it's the foregone conclusion that some of you think it's going to be. I think we've got a really difficult afternoon. And if we're going to win this game, it'll be 1-2-0. You've got to watch them on the other end as well. They can score goals. They are dangerous as well. Chris Houghton has done such a great job with this club. He's an outstanding manager. He's an outstanding guy. I remember him back in his Tottenham days, should I say. An absolute fabulous player and a really difficult game ahead of us this afternoon. But Sanchez is back. Now, do I think Sanchez will play? I think he'll definitely play a part. I don't know if he'll start him. I suspect he maybe that he will. I don't know who he dropped for that, but Sanchez is such a good player. But he hasn't been allowed to show that in a Manchester United shirt. But then again, the Manchester United cook wasn't allowed to show how good a cook she was under Jose Mourinho. I joke, of course. I jest, of course. But that man is, I'm still triggered by what he said on beIN Sports. I think the man is a nasty piece of work and he would absolutely sacrifice anyone to justify himself. But let's get back to today's game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done an absolute fabulous job. He is not lucky. Anyone couldn't have done what he's done. He's come in. He's treated the players the right way. Listen, when you're a caretaker manager and you come in and your players' confidence is so low, you do not start waving the whip and saying this and that. You remind them who they're playing for. And I think that's what he's done as well. I think he's done that. He keeps on mentioning what it means to play for Manchester United. And I think it's important the players understand that. Pogba's consistency in the past 6 games has been amazing. It's not rocket science to get good stuff from Pogba. All you need to do is play him further forward instead of using him defensively. Mourinho is obsessed with defence. So even his attackers were kind of defenders, weren't they? So look, Solskjaer's doing a great job. The old Man United gang is back. He's giving us the old Sir Alex Ferguson playbook. A lot of chat about Fellaini as well being injured. People are worried that he won't be leaving by the end of this January window. This is typical Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't think that Fellaini will play for this club again. There's been a lot of rumours about him being disappointed that Mourinho was sacked. Well, I think, mate, you're the only one because I think the rest of us are like dancing the gig, aren't we? Or the jig. Do you remember that, Dancing the Jig? The Last Boy Scout, Bruce Willis. So I'm really excited. But, I think that, I think Brighton are going to be really, really difficult. And I think we got a tough afternoon ahead of us. But I think mainly he's going to play the team he played against Spurs. But I do think Sanchez could come in. And it'd be interesting because Sanchez is very different to the other forwards we've got. He's not got the pace, but he's got the power. He's strong. He's tough. He can create a goal. He can score a goal. We just need him fit. I think he needs a run of games, Sanchez. I really do. And I think once he gets a run of games, we could see the player that we thought we bought. Because we certainly haven't seen that player thus far in a Manchester United jersey. So really important he gets a chance. I think he deserves a chance. Prediction for today's game. I feel that, as I said before, 1-0, 2-0. A lot of people are saying 4, 5s and 6. Totally unrealistic against this team and this defence. Who will play in defence for us? Is it Lindelof? Is it Bailey? Look, those two need a run of games together. A lot of people say they're not good enough. They're not consistent. I think Lindelof has shown consistency, but Bailey has been an in and out. From the beginning of his run here at Manchester United with injury, he was sent off. He had a 3-match ban. He needs a run of games. I definitely will play Bailey and Lindelof today because I think they're the best defenders that we have at the club. Give them a run of games. Get them used to it playing together. get their confidence up, and I think we could have an Evra and Vidic situation here. But as I say, I'm not dismissing those two because they're two of Jose's best signings. And I think they could be great Man United defenders, but they need a run of games. They need to stay injury-free, suspension-free. What Bailey did to get suspended was bloody stupid, but he needs to start playing now, playing for the jersey, a run of games, and I think we could be seeing a great partnership, in the mould of Stam and Johnson. But, I know some of you will laugh at that, but I do feel that. So it's really interesting. We've got a couple of run of games now in the league that look straightforward, but let me tell you this, there is nothing straightforward. If you ever talk to a footballer, they know nothing straightforward in this league. Anyone can beat anyone. So Solskjaer, Ollie, has been talking about complacency, could be our biggest enemy, and I think he's absolutely right. We've got to realise who we're playing against. This is a tricky team to play against. They are pretty much Wimbledon, not the way they play, but they are one of those teams that you're scared of, even though they're quite below us in the table. That doesn't mean anything. Every game is a cup final. If you don't do the business, it doesn't matter what's on your chest. It doesn't matter what badge is on your chest. You could lose. So very excited, a little bit nervous, and let's see what happens. Now, a lot of talk of whether or not Man United will be signing any players this January. What I actually feel about this is it's not the most important situation. I think the rumours that Martial is going to sign a 5-year deal, things like that are more important. Get the best players on long-term contracts, like David De Gea. I think that's really, really important to get these players on long-term contracts. Lots of people saying this club's a mess. They've let their contracts run down so they don't give them an expensive extension. That's absolute nonsense. These players weren't extending their contracts because they weren't happy with the manager and they were waiting for him to go. Now, that might sound out of order to you, but just imagine being under someone like Mourinho and being bullied. And, great credit to Ed Woodward, who I know who's been an absolute diamond during the Mourinho situation. He never wanted United to be a sacking club. But he gave him chance after chance. But ultimately, when you've got nearly the whole squad coming up to you, telling you, this guy is just causing trouble with everyone, to find Martial because he wanted to go off and be with his girlfriend or wife when she was expecting is absolutely outrageous. It's just not the era we're living in. So the sacking of Mourinho was right. Things are improving very quickly since he's gone. It's all about who your manager is and what he does. This is the key element. And I will go back to his beIN Sports interview talking about big clubs. A manager shouldn't have to do everything at a big club. Boo-hoo, Jose. You had to deal with player discipline. Why shouldn't you? I've heard people say, oh, yeah, but, in big organisations, there's a structure of disciplinary. But the point is, these players were going to the chairman because they didn't know what else to do. This man was making their lives a living hell. He was destroying their careers. Because of him, Martial wasn't being picked for France. So what do you expect the players to do? Just sit there and take it? Thank God for someone like Pogba coming out saying attack, 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 not taking the nonsense from Mourinho. So at the end of the day, I don't think player power got Mourinho sacked. If you want to feel that way, you can. I do not believe that for one moment. At the end of the day, it was an impossible situation. He kept on making the same mistakes. He was stubborn. The way he was playing just didn't work. For someone like Mourinho to succeed, he needs 22 specialist players in his squad who can play his way, who are 6 foot, aggressive, fast. We don't have those players to play his way. And he doesn't know any other way to play. He doesn't have a plan B. And this is why he's failed. But instead of coming out and being honest about that, and the club are to blame to a point. You bring someone in like that, you've got to allow him to buy the specialist that he wants. So it was all wrong. We expected him to be a Man United manager, and that's just not what he was. So the whole thing was messy. We've employed the wrong managers. We've made mistakes. We should have got a director of football from the moment Sir Alex retired, but we didn't do that. So mistakes have been made, but this quote I keep on hearing, the club's a mess, is not true. All boards make managerial appointment mistakes. Liverpool have been doing it for over 30 years. Klopp and Benitez are the only kind of appointments they got right. So let's not start accusing Man United of being a mess. They do need a director of football. I think once they get the director of football in and whoever they want to be the full-time manager, I think the summer is about clearing out people they want out, extending more contracts and bringing in the players that this club needs. Now, qualifying for the Champions League through the top four situation is very vital and very important. Mourinho left this club a lot to do. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? I don't know. I don't know because the other clubs are going to keep on winning. To qualify for the top four, not only are we going to have to keep on winning, we're going to have to take points, not necessarily wins, from the other clubs. So when we play Chelsea, when we play City and Liverpool, we've got to at least hold them to draws. Wins would be great. The first part of that with beating Tottenham was really important. We've taken 3 points off of them. I mean, I know Ollie says we're gonna lose and we have to react to that when it happens. But at the end of the day, we really can't afford to drop any points. And, you know, that I'm sorry, Ollie, that's the job you've got in front of you. Can Ollie get this job? I'm in and out on this. Sometimes I think it's already been organised for him to keep the job. But then you hear so many things on the grapevine, and I don't know. I know some fans would rather a high-profile manager. It's interesting. Let's see what happens. But it's all about what happens next. Will Ollie stay if another manager comes in? These questions will be answered in the summer. I think now's the time to watch the games, support the team, and I hope they do really, really well. But what are your predictions for today? Do you think United will win? Do you think we'll drop points? Could we even lose? Surely not. But you never know in the game of football. If you take the eye off the ball, no pun intended, you never know what could happen. But I'm happy with the club right now. I'm happy with the sacking of Mourinho. I'm happy with what we're doing on the pitch. I'm not necessarily obsessed with us buying people. I think that will happen in the summer. But hey, I'm not against if we buy a couple of players. If we don't buy anyone in January, I would assume that means Ollie isn't going to have to get this job no matter what he does. So very interesting. Is he just a caretaker or does he have a chance at the full-time job? I'll be back with the full-time review of the game and telling you what I thought. Fingers crossed, it's a win.